Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, I'll be sharing with you guys not one, but two rods that I have gotten from Bait Finesse Empires. That's right guys, Bait Finesse Empires is now carrying Jackson's rods. I am sharing with you guys two rods from the Blast Beat lineup, which is for bass fishing. You guys ready for this? Let's do it. So guys, these two bass Bait Finesse rods are gonna be awesome. They're pretty much my very first JDM rod, you could say, and I'm very excited to share with you guys these rods, and I can't wait to get out on the water and do some testing. But I'm gonna be focusing, just sharing with you guys the specs, and I'll throw some B-rolls throughout this entire video so that you guys can see the components of this rod. Well, these rods, of course, because it's two, right? I'm gonna start with this guy here, but both of these guys are basically Fuji'd out. You have Fuji guides, okay? This guy right here, this one is the medium light version. This is the so-called finesse, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guides, and they are micro guides. The real seat is also from Fuji. This is the PMTS micro trigger seat. I'm holding this rod handle right now. It's, whew, you look at this trigger right here, it is pretty darn small. And I think it's made this way because once you put that reel on there, it'll seat really well, and you could palm this whole thing. When you guys are bait finesse fishing, right? Most of the bait finesse reels are pretty small anyway and very lightweight, so you could hold the whole thing. So I can't wait to put a reel on it. In fact, towards the end of the video, I guess I will give it a shot. I'll put the new Aldi bearing on it so we can just take a look at it. But if you look at the seat, you have the, I guess, the little logo right there, the Quon, Q-U-O-N, and it stands for Qualified Ultimate Outdoor Navigator. And if you look at the part where you twist to lock in your reel, it says pretty much the same thing, Quon Custom Anglers Standard Rod. Okay, so it's pretty cool. Okay, this Blast Beat is gonna be the bomb. But anyway, this guy right here, I guess I'll just read off some specs to you guys. Once again, it's 10 ceramic insert guides, micro guides. This whole thing is a one piece. In fact, both of them are one piece, so it's freaking amazing. For the so-called finesse rod, this is medium light. It is 6 foot 2 inches. The action on this rod is extra fast, so it's gonna be made for the typical bottom fishing. So you like Texas rigging, Jika rigging, those type of stuff is gonna be perfect. Anything that you need some bottom contact, or if you guys need to feel that sensitivity, this is the rod for you guys. And for this blank right here, this is basically a solid tip, okay? And this rod is rated 36 ton. And for those who are not familiar with the rating, the higher the number is, basically the more stiffer it is. The other rod, which we'll talk a little bit about later, is a 24 ton, so it has a little bit more flex. Okay, so this is definitely made for your weedless Texas rig hooking. If you need to, set the hook and penetrate through those soft plastic, this is the one that you want to use. And the other one, again, it's a little bit more flexy. It's for, let's say, some hard plugs, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, because the bend is really important on that rod. The line rating for this rod here is 6 to 12 pounds, and the lure weight rating is 1/8 ounce to a 1/2 ounce. It's very interesting to see that JDM rods, they are very specific. Like some of the rods that I've been playing around with, it's a huge range, right? And even some of the finesse rods I've got from CDM World, right? They gave a huge range, which I never liked. This is more accurate, right to the dot. Kind of like the Japanese line, right? Like Varivis, they tell you exactly what the pound rating, you know exactly what it's used for. The diameter, everything is like pretty much spot on when it comes to numbers, which is great. You get what you see what you get. Now I'm looking below the solid tip right here. If you look at these wraps, the design looks pretty darn amazing. Looks pretty sick. And you look back at the handle and near the butt area, these are basically foam. Not too bad. I mean, I do like cork because it feels nice and soft, but at least I don't need to put any sort of a cork sealer on this. But man, this rod right here, it feels very light and it is very responsive. Very stiff. Alright guys, I have the JDM BFS here. This is the 2016 one. And let me just back out the screen for a second. Alright, got it lined up. And let's bend this down a little bit and take a look how it goes. Alright, okay. I see how this works. Bending up and down for a second. Alright, so if we look at the guides, we see 1, 2, 3 ends. And once you hit the 4, it starts to, the bend starts changing. Start straightening out, 5, 6, and by the 7th one, it's pretty much straight. So I'm gonna come back right here. If we look at the tips here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is likely the entire solid, and then you can start seeing the different part of the rod right here. So most of the bend, if I could bend again right here, yeah, most of the stuff that's the bend is the end of the rod tip, and then right here is all the stiff side. So yeah, this is definitely made for your Texas rigging, your Jika rigging, Ned rigging, okay, free rig, Nico rigging, anything you guys need to have the bottom contact, and the Texas rigging, the weedless hook sets, bam, this is it. But yeah, while I have this reel on here, take a look at it, okay? In fact, I'm gonna do a B-roll outside so it's better lighting, and I'll give you guys a better couple angles because it's really tough to do this in my living quarters here with all my kids stuff, okay? All right, let's jump into the more finesse one, the Makimoto Special. This is a light rod, but this is actually a solid blank from tip to the butt. And this is why this one is a little bit more expensive, okay guys? And this one is the 24 ton. Again, the other guy right there is 36. So this guy will bend a lot more, which we will cover in a second. Let's count the guides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once again, it is 10 guides. All right, everything else, it's basically sporting the same thing. So let me just read off the specs. So the action of this rod is moderate fast. The line rating is rated for 5 to 10 pounds. Lure rating is 1/8 to 3/8. So it's just a little bit less than the so-called finesse. And one thing I didn't talk about earlier was the rod weight. This one is a little bit heavier. This is a 4.8 ounce, whereas the other one over there is 4 ounces. So this one feels definitely a little bit heavier. I guess with the solid blank, it's gonna weigh just a little bit heavier. Not that much though. Now, although this guy right here is a little bit more flexy than the other one, it's still considered a fast tip. It's a moderate fast, okay? Let me take the reel off that one and we'll do some bends on this guy so you guys see exactly how this bends. But yeah, this guy right here, I feel like it's gonna be perfect for some of the applications with treble hooks, you know, so you guys have top water plugs, crankbaits, jerkbaits. All right guys, I put the same reel on, okay? And I gotta say, this definitely bends a little bit more. And it's definitely gonna be very useful when you fish certain lures that have tiny, sharp treble hooks, like the Piku Piku. I've been throwing that Piku Piku with several different rods, and the only fish that I have ever landed was from the Surinoya Dragon rod, because that rod is a little bit more flexible compared to, say, I threw it with the Dobbins rod. That rod is very stiff, and I threw it with the Shimano Majestic. And when you have a stiff rod, right, and you have the small sharp hooks, it's gonna rip a hole in a fish mouth. And if you try to reach for your fish and your rod tip basically straighten up too quick, and you give yourself a little slack line while it's shaking, you can spit the hook. And that's that's a problem with treble hook fishing, okay? And with this guy right here, it has definitely a better bend, okay? So let me back out and I'll show it to you guys. Hopefully this shows up pretty well. So I am gonna pull this down right now. All right, so I'm bending this right here and I'm trying to figure out where all the load's gonna be at. And I think right there. My arm is actually getting pretty tired holding this down, but let's count the guides. 1, 2, 3, 4. By the fourth one, it started changing the bend. 5, 6, and it started straight out. 7. Okay, by the seventh one and to the 8th is pretty much, that's where all the backbone is at. But the bend right here goes all the way down, which is a lot more than the other rod. And my wife just made fun of me. Anyhow, let me take a quick break, BRB. So there you guys have it, the rod bends for the 2 different rods. What do you guys think? I think I'll be using the stiffer one first because I love throwing pretty much Jika rigs all day long, or even Ned rigs, right? But I do have a lot of hard baits. So, you know, in the springtime, there's a lot of small, tiny hard baits. So, you know, it's really tough. But you know what? I got 2 Aldebarans now, right? I got the old Aldebaran and the new Aldebaran. So yeah, I think I'll put both Aldebaran on and boom, I have a nice arsenal for spring. Now before I wrap up this video, there's 2 more things I want to share with you guys. And the first thing is that this guy here comes with a rod cover. Okay, look at that. It tapers off too. You see that the end right there is narrow and is pretty wide at this end here. And not only that, they actually have a tip tube, okay? So It's not like super hard to, but this side right here is harder, and it connects to like a more wider end right there, and it has two little buttons that you basically cap on. So if you guys are traveling, or when they delivered this, it kept my rod tip safe. Okay, so let me put this in safely, and don't want to rip this out because these micro guides are small. So make sure you guys open up your the little buttons and slide it in slowly and clamp it down. Boom, presto. That's how it looks like when it's inside a tube. Pretty neat, eh? Anyway, guys, I hope I covered everything. These long videos, Jimbo is not really great at. So here's what I'm gonna do. If you guys check out the description below, I left all the details that I have gotten from Bait Finesse Empires, including the links to these rods. So if you guys want to go purchase it at Bait Finesse Empires, you guys could do so. So anyway, back to the question: which one are you guys most excited to see Jimbo fishing first? Okay, like I said, they both are something I'll be using in spring. I'll probably throw, like I said, the medium light more than the light, but there's just so many cool crankbaits and stuff like that you could throw with the light one. So yeah, leave me a comment below. It's gonna be a busy weekend, great weather. I can't fish because I can spend time with the family. So let me know ASAP, and maybe I'll catch some fish with it during the weekday when the baby's napping. The fish don't wait, right? So when the baby's napping, I'm not napping. I'm gonna go fishing. Peace out.